Hi, everybody. Welcome to Ladies and Lyrics. It's me, Divine, and Diane is here with us tonight. She'll be joining us shortly. It is Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Happy Hump Day. We are so happy to be back with you tonight and have a great show planned for you as always. We have been behind the scenes talking about themes. If you were on with us last week, you know that, or well, you know what? We weren't on last week. I just remember because we had a few things that we have to take care of. But if you remember that we are here, our new theme this month is weddings. Weddings. And so we're going to be talking about wedding songs. And so let's just say recognition of the season and the theme, Diane and I got a little dressed up for y'all tonight in our summer wedding dresses. Summer wedding.
Yes.
So this is summer wedding look, and let's just pretend it's outdoors because we have all our arms and stuff out, so we're enjoying the weather. Hey, so we have a couple of viewers. Thank you for shouting out. If you are on already tonight, go ahead and say, hey, what's up? How you doing? Hey, Josh. Hey, Mo. Welcome to the show. We're excited because, when we start talking about songs, it's not just literally about the song. We go deep and we are going to be talking about marriage, commitment, love, and all those things that surround weddings. Hey, Elijah. So, tonight, I don't know if y'all ready, but I'm ready. You ready for some good music, some real talk with us dope women? So let's go. Let's get it. Let's kick it out, Diane. And let's see. Let's say hello to Lynette. Hey, Lynette. Hey. So while Diane is going to kick us off with our chick chat, go ahead and drop it in the comments if you are single and ready to mingle, if you are in a relationship, if you are engaged, or if you are married. And if I didn't cover something, go ahead and drop that in the comments. Tell us, I'm single, I'm engaged, I'm in a relationship, I'm married, whatever it is. Just drop your relationship status in there. And if you want to say it's complicated, we'll take that too. Or it's none of your business. So go ahead and drop it in the comments. Diane's going to kick us off. Ooh, let's see. Happy Wednesday, ladies, and early Thursday. I know that's right.
Yes. Yes. Today's my Thursday.
Engaged. Okay, we got one engaged person.
Yes. Congratulations.
Congratulations. That's Chanda. And we have Lynette is married. All right, good.
Yeah,
So
Lynette is married.
Different perspectives we get tonight because we're talking about love, marriage, commitment, and all those things. Anybody else want to drop in the comments? I know some of y'all out there, don't be scared. Are you in a relationship? Are you single, engaged, married? Let us know. Diane, let's do a little chat before we jump into some music tonight.
Yes. Okay. Now, if you was on if you see it when the show first came on, you guys saw that I wasn't in my seat, right? I have a puppy. But she is not a puppy. I have a dog, and she's so tiny. She ran outside, and I was trying to get in. The man was helping me try to get it. And guess what? She's still outside. So I had to for real. So I'm asking my sister neighbor if she would get her and bring her in the house.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Diane, now you can't leave a baby out there. We have to find a baby. So
she's right outside, but she want to play out there.
You know what? I am trying to share us online really quickly, guys. I know you
okay.
Already, but this is so weird. Facebook is not letting me share. They're trying to hide it because this is gonna be a good show. That's why.
It is.
Okay, let's see. We had Lynette who was married. Let's see. Cha cha. Well, I'm not sure what cha cha means. What does that mean? See, they have inside jokes. Big Mama Cha Cha. Yeah. Let's ignore Elijah Joshua. If you want to drop your relationship,
I'm not going to ignore them. Hey guys,
relationship.
Inbox me on the side and tell me what that means.
No, they can put it in the comments. Let everybody know. Okay.
Those are my nephews. If you don't want everybody to know, y'all know Auntie Diane. She got you. Those are my babies. That's the Reed boys. Okay. Okay. I am not late for the wedding. I just want to let you guys know. But when we decided to do this and get dressed, I really got really into it. you know, oh, my neighbor said, "Where is she?" I don't know. She's outside somewhere. Um, I might have to stop for a minute, go get my baby, but she didn't go far. But so I really got into it. I put my little jewelry on, put my little dress on, put my little makeup on, my pocketbook. I was really into it. And since it is outside, I'm not giving y'all no shade, but I'm gonna put my shades on. Okay. All right. I think I want to talk about the weather a little bit. What do you all think about the weather? Well, I can say here in North Carolina and on the East Coast, what do you all think about all the rain that we're getting and how hot it has been? They said this is the hottest the earth has ever been. What is your thoughts about that? Like what do you
I would tell you my thoughts, and it's not even thoughts. It's just last week, or was the last week or the week before, my basement flooded. My basement had never flooded ever. And so that was a big headache. I mean, you have all of these things, you have to throw your stuff out. We had to get the water out. It's too much. When I came home from my cruise, it had not rained at all. My grass was brown. And I'm like, wow, the sun was beaming, it was hot, they had hot weather. But since I've been back, it has just been raining like every other day, and then it'll rain and it'll stop. It'll rain and stop. So my thoughts about it is that it's just inconvenient right now. It's a lot, and now I'm scared for it to rain because I think my basement is
right?
going to flood every time.
Yeah, I think what's happening is because there's certain places that's not used to this weather, like you said, with the rain. So you're really not prepared, right? Because you're not in a yes, it's okay, St. Louis, it's really, really hot. What's that the dog? Hey sissy. I don't know. Oh Lord, I don't know where my dog is.
Go find your dog, Diane.
Hold on.
The
Yeah.
viewers are going to have to help me talk about. We'll talk. I'll chit chat with them until you come back.
Um, yeah, I'm gonna pop out for a minute and I'll pop back in.
Okay. So if you all did not get the question, I asked for you to drop in the comments. If you're engaged, if you're married, if you're single, it's complicated in a relationship. What is your relationship status? I had somebody say engaged, and somebody say married, and I have more people on here, so I'm waiting to see what your relationship status is. But Diane was talking about the weather, but we're talking about weddings. So let me ask y'all a question about weddings overall before we jump into this song. Has anybody been to any weddings yet this year? And how do you rate a good wedding? I want to know that. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about a wedding that I just recently went to. It seems like almost every year I end up at a wedding. So let's see. I have a comment here. It's too much and it's really affecting the environment. The grass can be mowed today and 3 days later, it's almost up to your knees. Yes, Lynette. And my dog doesn't want to go in that high wet grass. And he doesn't want to go out when it's raining. So he has some kind of attitude. But thank you for answering that. So back to the weddings. What do you all think? Have you been to a wedding this year or even last year? Have you been to a wedding? And what makes a good wedding? What is going to make you leave a wedding and say, that was really nice? Let me hear it. What do you think makes a really good wedding? And I'll tell you a little bit about the most recent one I went to. If they got good drinks, that's a good wedding. Okay, so we see the priorities here. Who else agrees with that? You have to have good drinks. Now, good drinks, sometimes a wedding does not have an open bar. Would that make you say, no, this wasn't a good wedding because there was no open bar? Some weddings, I've been to weddings where there's been an open bar, and I've been to weddings where there is not an open bar. So what, my dog is crying. Now my dog is crying. I was asking the question, what makes a good wedding? So I'm asking the viewers what's makes
Wedding or wedding reception?
in both of them because they're both included. I'm saying wedding and the reception because to me, all of that whole event is one. So Tiger said if they got good drinks, and then he said, I know I saw this somewhere, music.
Music. Okay.
Elijah is responding to the question: is he single, married, or in a relationship, or whatever? He said widowed. Okay, and yeah. Morgan said, I have a wedding coming up in August, an open bar, good food, good music, and good company.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Tiger said JB's. So Morgan, I'm with you. First of all, I think number one for me, first, oh, this was a good one before I say anything. Let's see. Um, gift bags. That's a good one because that's something to think of. But I will tell you, almost every wedding I went to, they all give you some kind of mints or something to take. Some little candy in that little
They
gift
do.
box or something. Almost
Yeah.
every one I went to with wine. There was a wedding I went to years ago, and they gave all of us a whole bottle of nice wine, and we all took that. That was a nice wedding. It was at a museum. While we were waiting for the wedding to start, they served hors d'oeuvres. Everything. I mean, it was pricey. It was an expensive wedding. It was beautiful, and I mean, it was decorated beautifully. The music was okay. You know, it all depends on what kind of music you like. The music was okay, but I think music is like a huge piece. I think the decorations, like it does it visually look really nice. You know, the colors and things. And I'm going to say too, you know, when your guests wait around for a while, it could kind of put a damper on things a little bit. So, you know, I like the last wedding I went to, and I don't know if she's watching now, but that's okay. It was really late, and I was, you know, we was hungry. People get hungry. You waiting for the food and stuff. So try to be on time if you get married anytime soon.
I
Now,
think
and I'm gonna let you
people,
jump in there too.
I think that people have this thing in reference to the bride should be a little late. So now you have happy hour. That's what you was talking about when you said before you eat, you had hors d'oeuvres. So they have like a happy hour, cocktail hour, which is like an hour before the wedding. But when you shouldn't have your get, I wanted to be at least 15 minutes late. But guess what? I wasn't. My aunt didn't let me be late. You got to be at 12 o'clock because the pastor got something to do afterwards. So guess what? I was on time. My wedding was at 12 o'clock. I promise you, I probably was walking down the aisle at 12:01. So I
Okay.
was super duper on time. Um, yeah, I think that good music, drinks, but if it's not an open bar, it's okay. And people don't think about this. The bride and the groom or somebody else, whoever, it's very expensive when you are having a wedding. And if you have an open bar, you have cocktail hour, and then you have the open bar, so you serving food, hors d'oeuvres, whatever it is very very expensive. So if they don't have open bars, fine. Even if they don't have alcohol, is fine. Because my thing is this: what kind of gift are you giving them? What are you giving them? Are you giving them money? Are you giving them something from their
Or
registry?
did
Or
you bring them anything at all?
that's the point. So the thing is, we have to take that in consideration. People want to be invited, they want to go to the wedding, but they don't realize you're sitting down and you
Uh,
might be eating, you might be sitting at it. Your plate might cost them 150, $200,
yeah.
so, and that's just for the food. That doesn't have anything to do with the decoration. Not that you should think about all of that, but you should kind of think about when you come to make sure that you include, which come in looking beautiful, that you're giving them a
Yeah.
wonderful gift as
Yeah.
well. So,
Absolutely. I
yeah,
don't think you should show up empty-handed at all.
yeah,
Let me read some of the comments. The vows between, I really like that, Lynette. The vows between the bride and the groom, the music, food, and the type of folks. Absolutely. Like, what are they saying now? How are they looking? How, what is the vibe that you're getting? What are the vows that they're saying to each other? How they look at each other and how they're celebrating their love. I think that is a big one. Those wedding mints be you like those wedding mints. I mean, they come in handy once you ate dinner and everything. I've been to three, but one could have been better. No, it should start on time. Yeah, I'm like that fashionably late stuff. No.
Yeah.
But Diane,
Yes.
you did you find your puppy?
Yes, my sister neighbor brought her home. Thank you,
Okay.
Jesus. She
Okay,
was
good.
on the main road looking around like I'm lost. And so when she saw her, she just came, but she stopped and looked at it, just came running like, thank you for coming to get me. Anyway, thank you guys for understanding. Yes, Mocha's home safe.
Okay. Well, Diane, that time went by really fast because it's time for us to get into the music, honey. It's already that. Yep, it's time. So y'all ready? Are you ready for this song and this music and this discussion about weddings and love? So tonight we decided to talk about the song "Happily Ever After" by Case. And if you remember Case, he was really popular in the '90s. That's really when he was a hit. His hit songs include one, "Happily Ever After." Best Man I Can Be, Touch Me, Tease Me. And then he was in Missing You and Living It Up with Ja Rule, Living It Up with Ja Rule, which became like one of his biggest hits. So Case, his name is Case Woodard, wrote this song Happily Ever After that I've been listening to all week. And I actually really, really love it. So Diane, can we just hear a little bit of the song?
I wish I
Um,
could play a little bit more, but we do not want them not to play this episode. I want to say this real quick. Everyone that's on, I'm hoping and I feel like you all are enjoying this show and maybe previous, but don't be selfish. Share the show. Tell people about us. We want to grow our audience. We cannot do this by ourselves. We need your help. Share it. Don't be selfish. Share the
share.
love.
So go ahead and push the share button right now before we get into this song. Uh,
Absolutely.
and if
Help
you
us out.
haven't liked the Ladies and Lyrics page, please like us. And if you're on if you're on YouTube, make sure you chime in. Okay. All right,
Yeah.
Diane. Since you start, do you want to go first tonight? Let's do a little something different.
Oh,
Because I have, oh my goodness, I have so much. I'm just gonna start with the title, but I'm gonna let you go first tonight. You want to
it's
switch it
funny
up?
because that's what I was looking at. Could we be happily ever after? Is there really a ever? Like when you get married, is there? And I really shouldn't say that because when you're getting married, you are. I know for me, when I'm walking down the aisle and when he proposed and all up to the end for me was forever, right? Even though sometime we pack in our head, but initially it is the forever. You want to do this forever. We could be strong together for so long. My love is oh so strong. He is very, very, very much in love with her. He's very, very much in love with her. Yeah, and it's all about her. It's yeah. I know I don't
So,
have much to say right now.
so I wanted to just the title itself, "Happily Ever After." The title itself puts you in the mind of, to me, a fairy tale.
Yes.
Because that's when you hear happily ever after. I'm a teacher by trade, right? And I've read a lot of books, and usually fairy tales end with, and they lived happily ever after. And so, I always have to do my homework. Y'all start digging a little deep because I like to go a little deep. So I said, I want to look up what the dictionary says about happily ever after. And it says, happily ever after is a period of time imagined never to end. Typically, a loving couple live untroubled, happy lives together.
Oh, that's nothing.
Untroubled. So, happily ever after, when you ask the question, um, I'm going to ask the question to you all and to Diane. Does happily ever after exist? Or is it just a fairy tale?
If happily ever after exists, I'm going to say if the way you describe the definition, because it says it's in, to me, I took that as no flaws, nothing is perfect. That doesn't exist. But does happily ever after exist, including flaws and different? Because you got two different people coming together. merging as one, there's going to be some conflict, some disagreement somewhere along the road. But could it last forever? It can. It can. I do believe that. I do. So I'm gonna say yes. It
So
can.
Diane said yes, and I'm going to show some of these comments. Lakanya, hey, Lakanya. Happily ever after existed moments is
Mhm.
moments. It's like a roller coaster. I think she said there are going to be ups and downs. Happily ever after is just having that love people dream of, I believe.
Mm.
Okay. And then he said, dream of having the relationship and bond people dream of or aspire to have. And Joshua said he believes happily ever after does exist. And then Tiger said it does depending on them. So depending on the people. So it seems like most people believe that there is a such thing as happily ever after. But the happily ever after really depends on the people in a relationship. Do you think that wait a minute, I want to go back before I say that because when I was reading this, Diane, did you this that epiphany I had and somebody else tell me if I'm right or you think it's the same thing. As I listen to these lyrics, the man is actually singing about his wedding day. Like it's their wedding day in this song. Did you pick that up? That this was actually their wedding day, and not
Yeah.
only is it their wedding day, I feel like these are his wedding vows. I feel like these are the words that he was
Mm.
saying to them. It says in this song, "I will be your man, your protector, your best friend." And Joshua pulled out. It's like I can't even find my line. Oh, this is the one. So many times I could picture this day inside my mind. He said I could picture this day inside my mind. So I feel like this is really their wedding day that he's talking about. And he
Mm.
talked about making a commitment. So I guess in this time where we have marriage and we have so many people who get divorced, why do you all think, Diane, throw this out to you too? You all said there is a happily ever after. Then why do you think there are so many people who are getting divorced after they get married? Because after they have this big day, you know, and they say these vows and they believe it's happily ever after. What happened? What do you think is happening to relationships that one, a lot of people don't want to get married at all now. They said a lot of people, young people are opting not to get married. And two, they are they're ending marriages like this.
But maybe they shouldn't have been married from the beginning. It's a lot of different reasons why marriages don't work. Finances, like I said, maybe they shouldn't have been married. Maybe they didn't go. I feel that counseling is very important in marriage. Maybe they didn't get the counseling. Maybe they didn't know one another. There's so many different reasons, but I feel that if a person gets divorced, it's okay. It's okay because happily ever after might be just by yourself or not with that person because you want to be happy. And maybe them being together is just not being happy, or do you stay and you're miserable? Because even though people are together, especially people that have been married for a very long time, they have been through some things. So, do you have the staying power? That's another question. Do you have the staying power to go through the ups and the downs to where it levels off and y'all both decide that we're gonna be in there.
So Lynette said, if you're willing to do the work, it can be. You're going through the good and the bad, but some couples are not equally yoked, so their relationship won't last. I like that. They're
But
not equally yoked.
what
I'm
is
going to come
equally
back to
what is equally yoked?
the Lynette. What is equally yoked? What do you think that means? And then we'll come back to that. Case wanted to live happily ever after with Beyonce, but she was Jay Z. Oh Lord.
You know what?
It brings me to one song, Don't Change, Don't Change. What do you mean by that? Are you meaning? So here's the thing. I have so many, y'all saying so much good stuff. I'm trying to keep it in my head and comment on some of the things that you're saying. Like when you say don't change, don't change. I'm not sure what you mean, but I'm gonna say this. If you married somebody in their 20s, and you all are in your 20s, and you're planning on going through your whole, you plan to live happily ever after with each other, there's no way you're not going to change over the course of their relationship. It just doesn't
Somebody
matter. If
change.
people
Yeah,
aren't changing, and even if you're not that young, if you're not growing as individuals, and
absolutely.
you should be growing, you cannot expect people to be exactly the same as they were the day you met them. That's not what you married. So I had some comments on what you said, Diane, as well, and I'm going to go to you all's comment, but I want to comment about that. It, to me, and what I know now about as a 51-year-old, is that it's about the commitment. You got to be committed to the
Mhm.
commitment, because there are going to be things to come. If you think that how happy you are on that day, that's how it's going to be, everything's going to be roses, that is, you are setting yourself up for failure. And I think some people out there have the wrong expectations when it
Absolutely.
comes to getting married.
I,
So you have to be committed to the commitment that you made. That's
yes,
all.
but and I believe that. And then some things is just you committed to the commitment, but some things you just not committed to. Just some people tolerance for some things is not, you just can't handle it. You know what I'm saying? So I also think that's, what is your how much could you take? And some people get divorced and somebody else might say, you really left them because of that? That ain't nothing.
Yeah,
But our tolerance, our commitment is different. Everybody commitment level is different, because we're all different people. So how much could you take? Because it's a lot. It's two people trying to exist in the same space with it's two different people, right? We coming together being one. Yeah, it's not an easy thing, but I do believe you have to be willing to run the race. But for me, there's some things I'm just not running. I'm sorry. I'm
there
not
is
sorry.
something, but see, both people have to be committed to the relationship. You can't just, like step out on your wife, or, there are certain things that you can't do. So I'm not talking
Absolutely.
about extreme things. Like, I'm not talking about extreme. I'm talking about the everyday, the things that this person is not the same. Maybe where our kids are causing stress in our marriage. Other things, maybe we having some financial issues. How long are we going to ride the ride? How long are we going to commitment and commit to each other? And I remember someone saying that it's a covenant, and it's not just a covenant to this person. It's a covenant if you're religious, or if you believe in God, and if you're spiritual. It's a covenant with God, and if you make that covenant with
Absolutely.
Him, then you're going to try to do the two of you. And that's why when Lynette was talking about being equally yoked, do y'all have the same values and beliefs? Did y'all really sit down and have really good talk before you got married? Or were you just excited that somebody said, will you marry me? And you said, yes. It's just,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You have to, it's a like you said, it's a discussion, a serious discussion that has to be had, because my thing is this. I love the song by um I was going to say Boys and Men, but it's not Boys and Men. It's a New Edition. Can you stand the rain?
mhm,
See, because everyone loves sunny days. When everything is good, we can ride the ride. But could you ride the ride when they don't have a job? They lost their job. Could you stay? Yeah, they was fit, take care of everything or whatever. Financially, y'all was doing great. But now
mhm,
it's not. Maybe you might have to take on everything now before. Do you support them, or do you say, I can't deal with this? I'm just leaving. So to
yeah,
me, for me, I'm gonna ride with you because I know who you are. So to me, if you can stand those times, if you're there with the sunny days, believe me, those rainy days are gonna come. But you got to
mhm,
be, who's gonna be the umbrella? Because somebody got to be the umbrella. You got to
mhm,
be able to cover one another during these hard times and get them through.
yeah.
Get them on the other side of it. It's sometime in your head you packing, but long as you don't go nowhere, you good. You know,
Yeah, sometimes you're right. You're like, oh, I can't
yeah, I
do it
can't,
anymore.
but you
For a
don't
minute.
go nowhere.
Sorry.
You stay. So
Yeah.
uh, Yeah.
It
Communication.
can. It's not going to be. It's not an easy thing to do. So,
Yeah.
for then Joshua said, for a man to be saying this, that's powerful. We don't express those feelings often, and I think that's true. I mean, to see a man so vulnerable and say, "Hey, I'm making this to the end, to the day I die," basically is what he's saying in the song. I got you. It's me and you. And I think I skipped over. Here it is. Most people get married for all the wrong reasons, and
Yep.
I think so too. I think people get married, especially women. I think we're guilty of this. I think we want the wedding. We want the wedding, and all we want the day, the wedding day. Sometimes some women think, "Oh, he asked me. I can't wait. I'm getting my bridesmaids. I'm getting this big party. It's going to be beautiful. I'm going to take all these pictures." And then you have to live life with this person. And it's more than a wedding day. It's not about the wedding day, it's about the marriage.
Yeah, that's when it starts. It's the wedding. The marriage actually start after the wedding. When all the glimpse and glamour is gone. Um,
Elijah said divorce is for quitters or people who were never sure in the beginning. Okay.
mm,
Okay. And then I thought I knew what love was until I felt it close up. Aww.
all
Oh,
right.
aw, that was warm and fuzzy. People change, ideas change, and love changes.
It
Yeah,
does.
I agree with Kanye.
It does. With that, I'm glad she put that out there because people do change. So, what do you do when the change come? Are y'all growing together? That's important too. Are y'all growing together? And if your partner, it might not be growing as quickly as you are, do you go back and get them? Or when y'all are growing, how are you supporting? How are you supporting your partner as the growth comes, right? What are you doing? Are you getting into yourself and you feel like, oh, since you're doing this, you think or oh, you're not the same person. You want to see your partner grow. So you want to be able to grow together. How does that look? And how does that work? How do you work that out? And I feel like when rough times come, people don't want to reach out for help. Sometimes we need someone to come in and help coach us hearing both of our differences and our so that because sometimes we don't listen, we're not listening to our partners. So you got to be able to listen and understand what they're saying. You don't always have to agree, but you should be able to understand what they're saying and take yourself out of it. So I like that growing together. I mean, love changes and yeah, all of that. Absolutely. I love that comment that she made. Absolutely.
Let's see. We have a lot of comments here. Let's go through them. Hey, divorce isn't okay. LOL. Let's make better decisions before marriage. Maybe screen the clients a little better. Yeah, 100%. Let's stop jumping into something and not, I like this person. Is this somebody you really could see yourself spending the rest of your life with? Hey, Crystal. People stop working together. I'm not sure about the last word.
I
Last.
like the picture. Okay, Crystal, I see you,
Crystal,
girl.
how long have you been married? I think Crystal's been married a year now. Not that long.
Congratulations. I love marriage. I'm a wife when I get my husband again.
You're a wife already. That's right. Let's
Wife,
see. I
man.
don't believe happily ever after exists for everyone, or if it does, it's going to look different for every person.
I
As
believe
far
that.
as people divorcing, I feel that sometimes people change and grow. That might mean growing apart. That might mean growing apart, but does that mean if we grow apart, then the marriage is over? I don't know. I'm not telling anybody anything. I'm just throwing things out there.
Yeah, I
And
think that if the marriage grows apart, it's okay if you grow and then it comes up time and you guys could say, I love you, but I love you enough to say this is not working like it did before. And the best is for us to go our separate ways. But first, you have to do everything this is me, to do everything that you could do. Check all the boxes. I did this, I did this, I did this, I did this. And it's okay. It's okay. I don't think that you get married and it's not working and you're staying. I'm having to stay in power, but you're miserable. Y'all both are totally miserable and there's no hope. It's okay to me to walk away, and you can walk away without being angry. You can walk away knowing that It's just that wasn't the marriage had its, y'all too, it came to an end. Is that okay for some people? I think that it's okay. That's just me.
Crystal said marriage is beautiful. And
It is.
Lynette said being equally yoked is spiritual. A believer and non-believer joining together. You can't force someone to believe spiritually. This is why you should get to know who you're spending the rest of your life with.
I
100%.
agree.
I agree. And I think for me, I think that that's where the problem comes in. I think in the front, the beginning of the relationship, when you don't really know who you're with, when you didn't have the tough conversations, when you didn't talk about finances, when you didn't talk about spirituality, when you didn't talk about whether or not you're gonna have kids, you didn't talk about where we're gonna live, when you didn't have all those conversations that really mean something, then that's where the problem comes in.
And even sometimes you have those
Letitia,
conversations.
Portia, she's saying hi to you, Diane.
Hi, baby. That's my niece. Hi, baby. I think that, oh man, I lost my thought. I
That's
think
right.
that um you said something. Oh my goodness. It'll come back to me.
Okay, well, I'll go through some more of these comments. It's like we had a lot while we were talking. It's hard. It takes a lot of work.
Mhm.
Communication is very important. Being supportive because that black man needs that. He does, and he's coming home. He's already been beat up out there. He needs his wife to be his right by his side.
Absolutely.
And then
Absolutely.
it says some women want the glitz and the glam. That's kind of
Yeah.
what I believe in. And
Yeah.
I think sometimes, like I said, we're not having the right conversations before
Yeah,
we get.
that's what I wanted to say. So some people, they have a conversation and you know what they say? Well, I could say some women do this. Oh, he feel like that now. I can change him. Or he'll change within time. You have to believe people when they come to the table and they say to you, this is what it is. You have to be able to accept that. And if you feel like you can't live with that, then maybe that's not for you. You got to be honest. You cannot go into this thing and saying he'll change. It's going to be different. They're letting you know in the beginning, respect that. So you have to be able to make a choice. Like you said, that people are not having those conversations. They're not and I feel like sometimes people don't want to hear the answers. They don't. They
Mm,
don't want to accept the answers
mm,
because if we never had the conversation when things
mm,
start getting rough, then it's like, well, we never talked about it.
mm.
So
Yeah,
we got to be able to have it, and it's okay if you figure out in the beginning that that person is not for you. That's fine
that's
because
what I
then
say.
you
It's
don't
okay.
have to get a divorce. You don't have to go down some of the unnecessary things. That it's okay.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Crystal said, I completely disagree. Women get married because they want to experience love. I think everybody wants to experience love. I think men do. I just don't think we men talk about it as much. But I still think some women get married for the wrong reason. I don't think there's an absolute for anything. I think that some people think about the day, the wedding day. But I also think that, yeah, everybody wants to experience, everybody wants to feel like that. Most people do, you know, because that's how we're created. But at the end of the day, because we want to experience love or we want to have a wedding day, we forget to do the important things before we get there. Right. And sometimes that feeling, that newness when you get into something new and it's feeling so good, we really forget that if we're talking about making a life with somebody, there's some things we have to talk about first.
Right.
So
Absolutely. That's why they have counseling before you
we,
get married.
he said we need a call in number.
We do. I like
It's an
that.
investment.
It
It's an
is. Hi, Brenda.
investment. It's Hi Brenda. It's an investment. Yeah. Yes.
Absolutely. I think that that's why they have counseling before you get married. That is so important. That is very, very important to do. Um,
Mm, wow. He said love is like a gift and everyone won't be able to unwrap that gift. Man.
I
Now then
believe
that kind of made me sad to even think about that because at the end of the day, it is about love, right? It is. I mean, I'm saying the reason I'm kind of focusing on the divorce part is because it's a reality. And I'm asking about it because I love love. I love going to weddings. I love to see people are celebrating those anniversaries. I love when you see those old couples that have been together 30, 40 years. I love it. Um, but I want us all to get there. I want us to really talk about why we don't get there so that we don't fall into those traps. And that's why we're having this conversation that we're having right now.
Absolutely. And things also have changed. Roles have changed in reference to a woman, and roles have changed in reference to a man. A woman is not home being a housewife, and a man is just not the only one being the breadwinner. It takes a lot of times two people to run a household. Things have changed. So I think that we got to look at things differently. We cannot bring the old values into the present time, and we're living differently. We have to be able to navigate the way things are and not put people in a box. This is what a man should do. This is what a woman should do. Now, certain things, yes, it's hands down, but other things we need to come together, respectfully, and help one another and be a partner, right?
Mm-hmm.
Be a team. So we doing this. Yes, we doing this. We doing this together, and we gotta. I'm gonna keep saying it. We need to get counseling before marriage.
Okay.
Have the
Yeah.
hard conversations, but you need to be able to have someone in there that's going to shoot those questions to you, and you have to be able to answer them very, very honestly. And then when troubled times do come into marriage, go get counseling. They
Yeah.
see people that in marriages that get counsel, that's having trouble, that gets counseling, the marriage stays. They do not get a divorce. It is
Wow.
very successful. It works because
Yeah.
people are not listening to one another. So yeah, I'm going to keep saying that. I'm going to keep saying that throughout the evening. Get the
Yeah.
help that you need.
I will
You
definitely
yes,
I will definitely have do premarital counseling.
absolutely.
If and when I get married again, for
I
sure.
did it. Me and Mr.
Hmm.
Johnson, we went, and yeah, we had some rocky times in that little bit of
I
time.
mean, and that's okay. But working through it, you work through it, right?
Absolutely.
Having a strong relationship is being able to work through the challenges, not
Yes.
the moments. Yeah, yep.
You know,
I think everyone believes they should or will be in love someday, but I don't think that's the case. So you don't think everybody's going to experience love? I've never even thought about it. That's something I've
I
never even
agree.
thought about that.
I
It's
agree with that. Some people do not get a chance to experience
mm,
real love. Yes, you have a lot of people out
real
there
love. I
that
can
want
believe
it but never experience it. I can believe that.
a
Yeah,
marriage can work as long as both people want it to work. Some work. Same with any other relationship. Okay, it's the same as any other relationship.
I remember in with me and Milton, it came a time where I was just like, you know what? I cannot do this. I'm done. It's over. It's over. I'm out. It's over. Then I had to take a step back and say, did you do everything that you could do before you talk about leaving? Because those things are true. Like I say, we pack in our head, but those are true. Those things are true. Um, I was like, I'm done. But then when I had to think about it, I said, nope, you didn't do everything that you could do. So I had to go back to the table. And the sad thing is I did not get a chance to really, really work through those things because he passed away, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
Mm,
So, not that it was bad, but I'm just saying the things I said that I could do. So, and another thing is those things that I'm in my head, to, oh, I can't take it. He's like, everything is good. We good.
yeah,
Well,
yeah,
sometimes
yeah,
it's like that. We good. And I'm like,
yeah,
"Arr." So the thing is sometimes you have to check yourself. So
yes.
I had to check myself and say, what could you do, Diane?
Mhm.
And is it really actually that serious? So yeah, you got to get counseling and you have to do all that you can do. If you, like you said, you made that commitment. And sometimes we also have to think about the good times, right? We can't, when bad times come, we got to be able to pull from something good. You got to be able to remember Remember when he was supportive, or remember when she was supportive during your hard time. You got to go back to the core of why, I fell in love. Where's that person? Go back and find that person and remember that the support. Why did you fall in love with them?
Mhm.
And try to find them within that troublesome that you're going through.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Talking about the ideas and then making adjustments for a relationship is important.
Mm, yes, absolutely.
Communication, absolutely. When being with an individual, you should take time to get to know the real them,
Yes,
spiritually and emotional. Take
I
the
agree.
time. Take the time.
I
Being
agree.
understanding is the biggest thing missing in relationships. You try your hardest, the person, try the hardest, the person. I don't know what that last word is. Because people, there's this saying that says, instead of communicating to be understood, try to understand something like that. I have to find that quote. It's more talking about, instead of trying to get your point of view across, listen to what the other person is saying.
That's
You
it.
know, and
You
that, I
got
think that's kind of what you're saying. That, like, we're not even trying to understand the other person because we're so intent on what we're saying and getting our point across. Awareness, understanding, be aware what your deal breakers are, and understand who the person
Mhm.
before
Before
you
now.
marry them. There,
Absolutely.
I'm sorry. There are some people who do not know how to be loving in a relationship. Where do
Mhm.
people learn how to love? Oh, that's a really good question, man.
Mhm.
Look, I'm writing that down because we're gonna be talking about marriage all this time. Where do people? Because we're gonna come back to that question.
Where
Learn to
do people learn how to love?
love. I like that, and I want that to be a question that we talk about next week
Okay,
too.
because I was getting ready to give it to you, baby
No,
girl.
let's not give it to him. Let's hold that one. We're gonna bring that one back next week, Latanya. So you have to come back. In order to love anyone, you have to have self-love and self-respect. I
I agree.
100% believe that. I believe if you do not have a good relationship with yourself, love yourself, be happy by yourself, how are you gonna bring that to somebody else? You can't. That's saying, oh, you make me happy. You should be a happy person. You add to my happiness. But yeah, I think you definitely have to be a whole person, loving yourself and having self-respect before you can try to be with somebody else. We got so
A lot of
many
people look, a lot of
we're
people,
gonna run out of time. So
a
let's get
lot of people feel that someone else will make them happy, right? They think that happiness, the person is bringing them happiness, but happiness lies within you. No one, because if that person leave, if they bring in you happiness while they're there, and then if something was to happen to them, then that means that you're no longer happy. Like you said, all the things that you want from that person, it has to lie with inside yourself.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, self-love first. If you love yourself, you'll never experience a lack of it and will naturally
Mhm.
attract the love you deserve because
Come
you
on
don't
through, nephew.
anything subpar or anything that stays too far um, from how you love you. I like that. That's
Yeah.
really good. You like attracting that energy. You're attracting
Mm.
it. And Crystal said, you have to create your own culture in your marriage.
Mm.
Stop the superficial social media marriage. I like that because really, is marriage like a really personal thing, right? And what you and your husband or wife you do and the culture you have in your marriage, like what does that look like for the two of you? It's really a private thing, right? And then I think people outside can see that, they're attracted to that. Stop the social media marriages. I mean, do you know, like all the celebrities that you were like, ah, they got divorced, thought they were going to be
Yeah,
married.
absolutely. You don't even know what's going on in their household.
You don't
You
know.
only
You don't
looking
know.
on the outside.
Okay, let's see. I think these are last two comments that were up here. I'm trying to get through all of them before we kind of ask our last question. A lot of marriages have the family and friends more present in their business instead of the married couple handling their ups and downs on their own.
Absolutely.
Um, I think that's kind of like what Crystal was saying too, like creating your own culture within your marriage. But you're right. When you let too many people in your business and in your marriage, that's already a recipe for disaster. It's disaster.
Absolutely.
Let's see. The love of your life should be an accessory to your happiness. It definitely should. And then I heard Tony Robbins say on the podcast, do what you did in the beginning of the relationship, and then there won't be an end. Okay. So
Mm,
and people say that all the time. In order to keep her, you need to do, or him, you need to do what you did at the beginning of the relationship. Like as far as how you treat that person. I think that love is so precious. It's so precious.
yeah,
And when we find somebody that we can love and spend the rest of our lives with, I think that's a great gift. I think,
absolutely.
and it's been a long time since I've been married. I mean, a very long time. But I'm looking forward to it again one day because I think I could get it right this time. I really do. So I'm excited about finding
With
love
with the right person.
with the
That's
right
the
person.
thing. With the right person.
Yeah,
With the right person,
yeah,
it's gonna be right. It is not
right.
even you getting it right. It's gonna be right because it's the
Yeah.
right person. You y'all two coming together. And that's my thing. Yeah, I'm
So let
already
me ask this question. So this is going to kind of wrap our show up. Look, can I thank everybody that's on here tonight? I think some people may tuned out, but you know what? We appreciate all of your comments, and we're going to be talking about some more love and marriage stuff. Bring your
yes,
questions. If you have anything that you want to talk about, we're going to do that for the rest of July. We're excited about it. Like I said, Diane and I, we are, we love, and we're like probably
yes,
romantics. I know I don't seem like it, but I really am in heart. But here's the question for you. I think it was on one of those love and marriages. It was like a clip because I don't watch them, but I saw a clip of one of the girls get down on her knee and ask the man to marry her. I guess he was taking too long. What do y'all feel about a woman taking the initiative? He's taking too long, and she's saying, forget that. I'm going to ask him. Do you think this is for all of y'all that's still on here? We get ready to get off. So we got like 8 minutes probably to get these answers in and Diane to answer, and I might chime in, but I want to see what y'all going to say. Do you think it's okay for women to ask a man to marry them? What do you think?
I'm gonna tell you why. I don't think a woman should ask a man because I feel like when I talked about different roles, there's some things that a man is a protector, well, he's supposed to be a protector, a provider, and the other P, I can't remember it. But I just feel like that's a man's, he's saying, I want to marry you. I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to, yeah, I think that it says a lot. I don't think a woman should, that's just me. I'm not getting to the knee. I mean, and times have changed. So I guess if that's what you want to do, yeah.
Okay, I'm waiting for the comments. Too much testosterone for me, child. So I'm gonna take that as a no. And Diane said no. Okay, so I will wait for the other comments to come in. I
What do
will.
you think?
Okay.
What do
The,
you think, Devanya?
I was getting ready to say. Crystal said to each his own, but it's a hard no for me. For the I think she means it for me. And then Joshua. So that's another no. Let's see what Joshua said. He said, it's like we said, what's for you is for you. It works, then let it work. Okay. He said, if that's what they want to do. I believe you see what you want. Ain't no shame in snatching that up. I don't think it matters. All right. So he said it doesn't matter. If he didn't ask you to marry him, he might not have any thoughts of doing so. Allow the man to be the man. I'm agreeing with y'all. Personally, I'm a belief when a man finds a woman, he finds a good thing. I want to
Mhm.
be sought after, not go after.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ooh,
I will
yes.
never. He said, absolutely not. No, I'm not asking no man to marry me. Me either,
Okay.
because
That's
I
right.
think, this is just my opinion. I think that men, they make a decision when they're ready. And when they found the woman that they want, I think they're not letting no other man snatch her up. So me personally, I wouldn't. I like Morgan said, I would never. No, I'm not asking a man to marry him. And I think, yeah, I would. I think the man should be doing it because I'm with Lakanya. When a man finds a woman, he finds a good thing. And when they make a decision and they found the woman they want to marry, they are not wasting any time. They're going to ask her to marry him. Maybe you're not the one that he. have those conversations up front, though, Diane. Remember, we talked about like, hey, I'm in this relationship. Are we just dating? Are we dating to get married? What are we looking for? Are we moving toward that? That way, there are no
Yes.
surprises.
And you know what? Women do not like having those conversations because they are afraid. For me, I said, I want to get married. If this is not what you want to do, it's okay. But don't let's waste one another time. So we already know what it is up front. And that's after we get into a certain point in our relationship. But we definitely gonna have that conversation because you know, I'm a little too old to play them games. But yeah, why waste time? Let's really have those, like you said, have those conversations in the beginning.
In the beginning, and then that way it's not a surprise. Oh, I didn't know you were thinking about marriage. Oh, what did you? This is new to me. If a man knows, hey, I'm looking to be married, and some people date for marriage. That's what they're
Yes,
doing, dating to move
absolutely.
into that mindset.
Intentionally.
They're very intentional. And
Yes.
then there's a question here, and I'm going to show it, but we're not going to talk about it because that's going to be the second question that we say. Do you believe in finding your soulmate? We're going to save that for next week. I wrote it down, just like I wrote the other one down. So guess what, Letitia? You have to come back next week so we can talk about it. So I expect to see you back here. So that's crazy. Women would rather sit around Rory if he ever gonna ask instead of asking maybe he's shy or something. No, she doesn't. If she is upfront about it in the beginning or have conversations around it in the beginning, I don't think that she'll be sitting around like wondering. I mean, I think it has to do with how old we are too. I mean, there may be a difference in your age and what younger women think than women that are a little older like us.
Yeah, I just think that we don't have to be afraid because if that's not the one, it's not the one. Yeah, nobody should be. I've been waiting for him to ask me to marry him for 4 years. Well,
Right.
I'm pretty sure he already told you that this is not what he wants. And it's okay to walk away because you're
Mhm.
wasting your time. It's okay. Not
Right.
telling people to do that, but I mean, for me, let me say for me.
Yeah, sometimes that is what happens is that women look up and they've been in this relationship 5 years because they've been waiting for this man and not even saying anything to them. That's not really on him as I mean, all on him if we're not even talking about it. So you know
Yes,
what?
bring it up.
I've enjoyed talking to you all and everybody that chimed in and tuned in tonight. We appreciate it. The conversation went a little differently than I kind of planned. I always have things planned out in my head, but I threw out that first question before I meant to. But we love. I'm excited about talking about weddings. I love to attend weddings and love to see people getting married. So we're going to talk about wedding songs and love and commitment and all those things. We'll talk a little bit more about commitment next time because we kind of talked about the divorce thing and how marriages are ending. But how are people staying together? Let's talk about that next week.
Yeah,
Okay.
what is staying power?
What's the staying power? If y'all got the secret sauce, come back on here and share it with
Yeah,
people.
what's the
Okay.
staying
What
power?
is the staying power? What's making your marriage stick? Let's talk about that next week. Okay.
Real
And we're
quick.
gonna have a new song. If you
Yes,
have a song that you want to suggest, we have some already, but we might
yes.
decide to switch over if you want to throw one out there. Diane,
Yeah.
you want to say another thing
Yes,
before we
and
finish?
bring your mate. If you have a mate, bring your mate. Bring your mate with you. Let them chime in too. Let's hear what they have to say. It'd be pretty interesting.
Come back
Uh,
here next week on Ladies and Lyrics because we have so much more to talk about. Diane, can we hear just a little bit more of the song before we
you
leave?
sure can.
Love y'all. Have a
Yes.
great rest of your week. See y'all next week on Ladies and Lyrics.